Indians don't pay.
One thing that they have done well is, I think, sassetization of products.
Skip selling to India and move to greener pastures.
The thing is, SaaS as an concept with the same monetization engine that works in the West can't be applied to India as a market.
They have tried to essentially do it, from a point of view of low margin and a high number of volumes.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Indian Startup Desktop. Let's go.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
If you're watching us for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel below. Let's get started. To Zepto's offer, applied to Zepto for a job. They asked my salary expectations. Base salary 20, processing briefs fee 2, email fee 2 LPA, stress surge fee 8 LPA, late night handling charge 4 LPA, delivery fee 4L. Total 40 lakh per annum. Apply code hire me to get 20% off of up to 1 lakh per annum.
Reminds me of college hiring where people will come with this 40, 50 lakh LPA salaries and the base will be like 5 or 6 lakhs in that.
McKinsey boys are feeling the heat. McKinsey consultants getting fired for operational efficiency and profitably drive. Moving on to smart marketeer. Founder, I don't want my Indian customers to choose my cheapest plan. Marketeer, say no more. Nano, Swift, Creta, Enterprise. First of all, Swift is damn cool. So I don't know why people are dissing on Swift.
We've seen your red Swift feet, huh? But I can't believe the difference between a Nano and a Swift is so much, dude. It's 200 rupees versus 5,000 rupees. I think a Nano is as good as a Swift and it's pretty spacious.
It's really not, bro.
Bro, it's very
We used
spacious.
to joke. Okay, one of my friend had a Dude, one of my friend had a Nano. We used to joke that whenever he's going to sleep and he's parking the car outside, he will keep a stone on top of the car so the car doesn't fly away.
That is very funny.
Right as a bus.
But this is pretty smart way of navigating Indian customers is what I feel. Because the model Nano completely failed because of its narrative. It was not a bad car which was being shipped out. It was just the narrative which was very wrong.
Yeah.
So if you actually want people to avoid the focus on the lowest package that you're offering, it's better to have a car narrative there because everyone wants a Creta these days. We can clearly see that on road.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. In fact, when you market a car as the world's cheapest car, people are not, I mean, Indians are not going to buy it because for India, car is a symbol of status and nobody wants to be attached to the world's cheapest anything for that matter, right?
That's very true. Yeah.
Let's move to a weekly chatter. Spinny skids. So this is a personal experience that somebody had on Spinny. But look at this. On May 4th, I sold my car to Spinny after reviewing their TNCs, blah, blah, blah. Everything seemed fine. I followed up multiple times for proof of RC transfer. No clear answer. When I checked the Vahan portal, the car was still registered in my name. Spinny reassured us it was due to delays at Bijnor RTO and such things were common. They also confirmed per the signed agreement that they would be responsible for any issues with the vehicle. Then in December, I started receiving traffic challans. Between December and April, I received 10 challans from Delhi, UP, and Haryana. No surprises there. For offences ranging from speeding and parking violations to driving without insurance, violating pollution norms. Blah, blah, blah. We've sent over 8 emails since Feb, none acknowledged. Today, my driving license stands digitally impounded due to Spinny's inaction on these challans. I sent them a legal notice on May 15th, but even that hasn't woken them up. It's disheartening when a brand that promises ease and reliability falls so short. I'll be pursuing legal recourse, but I'm sharing this with others are aware so that others are aware of what could go wrong. Pavan, what are your quick thoughts on this, dude? Oh, he's tagged Nitin Gadkari. Thank
This is
God.
so much similar to what you this is so much similar to what you mentioned about the Atlas part as well, right?
Ops
It's an
heavy
op business
business.
and 1 to 2% slippage. But and this is like more critical here. It's an ops business with governments being involved. It's more tricky. And I don't know why is this coming up now. Did Spinny do such a great job before with working with RTOs and the governments that this is
Yeah.
not a problem before? Why is it suddenly popping up now?
Yeah, no, I'm actually a huge fan of Spinny, dude. I know a lot of my friends who bought, really great vehicles from Spinny, even sold maybe like one or two of them. So I'm surprised that this happened and this blew up. But yeah, like you mentioned, ops businesses have 1-2% slippages that they can't really control. But in the midst of all of this, CRED partnered with Spinny to launch second-hand car sales or second-hand buying on their platform. And look at their ad. Brilliant ad this is.
Yeah. This is an amazing ad actually.
A new car won't fix your midlife crisis, but it will look good in your garage.
Nice tagline, no? Midlife
Yeah.
crisis reimagined. What do you
I
think, dude,
mean,
Pavan?
bang on marketing, dude. They have capitalized on one user target base which is rich, affluence, and has like different problems than rest of India, and they are hammering that problem statement again and again. Relevant problems, relevant solution, right partnership, great execution.
I think Kunal Shah's vision of a closed, high trust society is slowly coming to fruition with commerce, with second-hand cars, with financial services, with everything coming onto cred. I think that dream is way is much closer than we anticipated, right?
I agree. Just that they need to take a down round to achieve that dream now. If you know, you know.
Moving on to our story of the week, on-demand visas. I don't think we've covered this company, but Atlas is a very popular B2C startup which basically helps you apply for visa to almost any country. Look at what this lady Divyani has had an experience with Atlas. Atlas sent my passport and documents to Mysore. As a cautious planner, I had my documents picked up, blah, blah, blah. You won't believe what happened next. My passport and documents were delivered to an address in Mysore, not mine. I wondered what if the passport is lost. The person who received the package was also an Atlas customer. Her passport has also been sent to the wrong address. She figured out my number, texted me, and personally went to DTDC to courier the package. Imagine the level of operational failure.
I feel it is just an Excel sheet mistake. I feel they missed one row to one column because of which everyone in that column have received wrong passport.
Bro, it
I see this to
something
be
like this
as
can't
simple
be
as
that
that,
casual.
but such a big blunder.
Yeah, it can't be that casual, bro. Passport is not something that you
Bro,
track
it
on an
looks
Excel
like
sheet, bro.
she has also received someone else's passport, dude, and I'm pretty sure these are not two people. There would be like at least that day's 10 people or 50 people or 100 people. Damn, dude, but it's seriously sad.
Yeah, but the thing is this, right? Like when you're running a heavy ops business, 1% or 2% slippage is bound to happen. Like look at Urban Company, look at Swiggy, look at any type of companies as well. It is just that Atlas is dealing with a very, very important document in everybody's life, which is a passport. So any fuck ups over here will obviously be overblown, right?
Yeah, imagine this happening on the VFS scale, dude. VFS handles so many passports for so many countries. Even if like one passport reaches somewhere else, it's such a big blunder. They put the tags of individual IDs 10 times on a same package, and there is so sophisticated process to handle that, just to ensure that such a thing doesn't happen.
Look at the founder's old tweet. Don't get a visa, go to Kashmir. So true, because Atlas, you're never getting a visa. Let's move on to Indians don't pay. I know last week we covered something called the Skip India movement, where a VC was telling all Indian AI founders to skip selling to India and move to greener pastures. But look at our friend Dharmesh Bar's post over here. Indians don't pay narrative is changing and slowly. And these are a bunch of companies that have made immense, a lot of money through India. Pawan, let's start off with you this time. In fact, let me rephrase the question a different way. Is there any similarities you find in these applications that have made a lot of money?
B2C, that's one similarity that I can see. Although like the Vyapar and all are kind of B2B2C, but they are consumer focused, where individual signs up.
I think one thing that they've done well is, I think, sensitization of products. What I mean by that is they've really tried to understand that an Indian consumer will not pay you 100, 200, 500 rupees directly. So especially, let's look at ShareChat. What they have done is, how do we sell 5, 10, 15, 20 rupees filters so that people, when they're talking to each other, they're able to spend that money. And because they have that scale, they have been able to essentially make a lot of revenue from that. So instead of trying to sell very high cost products to customers, they have tried to essentially do it, from a point of view of low margin and a high number of volumes. And I think that's really worked for some of these companies well.
Yeah, I fully agree. And I think sachetization of any service is the most paramount in India, right? And for our viewers listening, have you guys seen the small 1 rupee or 2 rupee shampoo packets? You will not get these packets in any other country apart from India. Now, this is basically what we call sachetization of products and services. Now, this can be applied to almost anything. Look at content for that matter. What Cuckoo FM, Stage, etc. is doing. This happens in financial services a lot. This happens in almost any industry. Look, but I think the larger point is while yes, there are companies making a boatload of money in India, the actual point that people are debating over here is it relative to US or relative to any developed market, it is much harder to make money over here, and for obvious reasons, right? Our per capita is down. Our GDP is not as large as any other as the top 2 3 countries. So yeah, I think it's slowly changing, but we all should also look at it from multiple angles to understand the broader picture. For example, a SaaS company selling a high-end enterprise marketing software should never focus in India. For them, their priority markets should be US, UK, Europe, right? I think it also depends on the industry that these folks are on. What do you think, Pavan?
The thing is, SaaS as an concept with the same monetization engine that works in the West can't be applied to India as a market, because India is not very hesitant to pay, but it doesn't want to pay the same way as people in the West pay, because the monetization for those users is not in the same way as West pays these businesses or charges customers from their businesses, right?
Hmm.
So it's a different market. Like if you see India also, there are companies who make like large pads. Like if you take Astrotalk, such a company can never be built from US, or such a company can never be built from UK, because it's a market where the problem is India specific, the narrative is India specific, the amount of availability of astrologers in India is higher. So it
Yeah.
depends which part of country you are, or the world you are.
So that's it from this week's edition of the Indian Startup Desktop. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel below. See you folks next week.
Bye bye.
Saksham, let's start off with you this time, since you're a very popular scammer in our circles. What do you think about this?
And the scammer left.
See, moment I read this post, Saksham felt like leaving.